Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made during this week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you are interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some chicken tinga tostadas. So I'm just starting out making my Mexican rice. I'm just going to toast 1 cup of white rice, and then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and half a teaspoon of cumin. So I'm just going to toast that as well until it becomes nice and fragrant. And then I'm going to add in half a can of tomato sauce and mix that all in. Once the tomato sauce starts to cook down, I'm going to add 2 cups of water. To that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon and 1 teaspoon of tomato bouillon. I'm going to bring it up to a simmer, put the lid on it, and turn the heat down. So next I'm going to work on my chicken tinga. I have a couple chicken breasts cooking in my Instant Pot that I'm going to shred up, and then I just chopped up a little bit of an onion, so I'm just going to saute this around. I love the smell of onions cooking. So next, I'm just going to add in that shredded chicken. I think this was about 2 or 3 chicken breasts. I'm just going to toss this all together. I'm going to add a couple cups of water and then chicken bouillon. So once the chicken starts breaking down a little bit, I'm going to add in my seasonings. I'm just adding a couple chopped up chipotles, and then I'm adding the adobo sauce on top. So then I'm going to season the chicken some more. I'm going to add some taco seasoning from Costco, some onion powder, and some cumin. So I'm just going to give this a nice mix. The chicken should start absorbing all of that liquid and really cook down and become nice and tender. I like to make sure my chicken is going to be super soft and juicy, so I will add a little bit more water and chicken bouillon powder if I need to. So the last step is to add a little bit of garlic salt to taste. Then I'm going to work on my tostada shells. I actually like to fry my own. I just take a plain corn tortilla that I get in the store, and then I will fry it in some oil. I find that frying your own tortillas tastes way better than the store-bought tostada shells. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped it with some sour cream, some lettuce, and some queso fresco. One of my favorite meals. I love this meal, and I'll definitely make it all the time. This next meal is just a really nice comfort meal. I actually made this for my fiance's birthday. This was Italian breaded chicken, some mashed potatoes, and some chicken gravy that I made. So I'm just starting out with 1 large chicken breast. I just butterfly it in half. I actually butterfly it into like 2/3 and 1/3. The 1/3 is for me. So I'm just going to lightly season the chicken, and then I did lightly season the breadcrumbs as well. The biggest and most important step to chicken is you have to season the chicken and the breading. So I'm not going to use any flour in this instance, so I'm just going to dip each chicken into my egg wash and then into the breadcrumbs. I have a habit of pouring way too much breadcrumbs onto the plate and then wasting it all afterwards, so I just made sure to pour a little bit of the breadcrumbs on the plate. So I'm just going to do the same to each chicken breast. I have a little bit of oil on a pan heating up while I do this. That way I can fry the chicken. So this is a little out of order, but before I did the chicken, I cut up a couple gold potatoes into cubes to make some mashed potatoes. I am just gonna make it in a sauce pot because I'm not making too many. I try to limit my sides as I eat dinner, so I'm just gonna make a little bit of mashed potatoes. Once they were all cooked and ready to go, I'm just going to start on making them. I'm adding a couple tablespoons of butter, a little bit of sour cream, some milk, and some garlic. This is my first time using a hand mixer to mash the potatoes. I don't really know how I feel about it. I feel like I just smash the dang potatoes. So then I added some salt and some pepper to taste. I did use my masher because I did find that there's still chunks of potatoes in there. Anyways, it worked out perfectly fine. So now I'm just going to cook the chicken fully through on the pan. That's why I like cutting them kind of in half. It makes for thinner chicken, and we both like thin pieces of chicken. So once it was nice and brown on one side, I just flipped them. And then when they were done, I just picked them up, drip off the excess oil, and then I put them on a wire rack to cool and then drip off any other oil that I have. So now I'm just going to make my own chicken gravy using the chicken bouillon powder. I just had 2 cups of water and about 2 teaspoons, maybe a little bit more, of the bouillon powder. I'm going to stir that all together, make sure it's all combined, and then add some flour. The flour will clump, so you want to make sure you stir it really well. Just kind of add as much flour as you want till it is your desired thickness. So once it starts to cool down, the gravy will become nice and thick. This is how everything looked when it was done. This was so good, such a nice comfort meal. So I clearly forgot to take a video clip of the food, but I always make sure to at least take the pictures. So I just made some chili garlic honey chicken, some white rice, and some broccoli. So I am just starting out with 1.5 chicken breasts. I'm just going to cut them into strips and then cut them into small bite-sized pieces. So I'm not technically going to be frying the chicken pieces, but I will coat them in a little bit of cornstarch and then cook them up on a pan. So next I'm just going to work on seasoning the chicken just a little bit. I'm going to marinate my chicken in some soy sauce. I find that is the best flavor. So I'm just going to give this a nice toss, and then I'm going to add in just a little bit of cornstarch just to coat the chicken, nothing crazy. So I actually do like to make my own sauces when I make chicken like this. I'm just going to use a little bit of soy sauce, a good amount of honey. It's supposed to be pretty sweet. And then I am using my chili garlic sauce. I'm mixing this all together, and then I do add more and more of each just to make more sauce. So then I'm going to cook the chicken. I just lightly coated the pan with some oil just for non-stick purposes. And now I'm going to cook the chicken. They are clumped together, but as they cook, they do kind of cook and separate. So this is just how I cook the chicken. I did turn the heat up a little bit just to get a little bit more browned on the bottom. Once the chicken was all the way cooked through, I did add my sauce and let the sauce start to cook and thicken and reduce. This is how the sauce looks when it starts to cook and thicken. This sauce was so good. It was so sweet but so spicy. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just cooked some white rice and some broccoli on the side. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.